Good morning, all you big shavers. Nice Sunday morning here in Oklahoma, kind of semi-sunny, and it's cold. But everything's blooming, so allergy season is just knocking us all on our butts. Well, today I'm going to do a shave that I've been anticipating for quite a while, and it's going to be with the TOBS Rose Shaving Cream, courtesy of Jesper Whedon. Thank you, Jesper. My first whiff of this, I was kind of surprised. I was expecting kind of my grandma's Avon cologne roses type of smell. Well, there's a little bit of that in there, but it's a much more subtle and manly type of scent that you would think roses would be. I'm also going to be using my Frank Shave 28 millimeter brush, the big gun, and I'm going to be face lathering. I'm going to use, after it's all done, some of my homemade aftershave. This one is grapefruit and witch hazel, and I'm going to top it off with True Fit and Heel sandalwood. And the razor I'm going to use is one I haven't seen anybody really use on the Big Shave. I'm going to use a Gem Junior. Brass. Shines up real nicely. I'm going to use a Gem Persona stainless steel coated blade. And also, too, I've got a brand new camera. I'm testing the camera out. I don't know what you guys use. Most of you, I guess, use your cell phones. And I started using that, and I just didn't really like the way my iPhone picture made. I had to mess with it and reformat it and do stuff like that. So I didn't particularly care about that. So I got this, but then when I got this and started playing around with it, this is a Samsung. It didn't say on it. I think it's a FV300D, if I can remember the letters right. It's face forward, so I've got a little picture here I can see and frame it, so it's different than cameras that you can just see from the back. Oh, and that reminds me, alphabet soup. You know, the all the little acronyms and things. RAD. Whenever I first started surfing around on the boards, shaving boards, I kept hearing this RAD pop up. RAD, 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 RAD. So I finally found the page on Badger and Blade that told me what RAD was. Well, razor acquisition disorder. And then they had SAD. Soap acquisition disorder. And it might be all right for some of you guys to call yourself sad because you're kind of sad. And then there's some of them that are CAD, cream acquisition disorder. And I can guarantee you some of you guys are CADs. But then they've got ASAD. I don't know what that stands for. But in my profession, I'm a social worker. I was a line supervisor for years. I'm in kind of middle management now, support management. Whenever I taught at university, my students, I would say, stay away from all these these acronyms, all these letters in this alphabet soup because people don't understand it. This cream is really nice and thick, and just a really lovely smell. Really lovely smell. Well, I tell them, people don't understand it, and it'll confuse people. Well, I got a warning for you guys. It's fine for you to say you have, and a lot of people have been saying, I've got my rad, I'm feeding my rad. Well, here, amongst us guys on particularly the closed board, it may not be too bad for you to say you have rad, that you have razor acquisition disorder. But out there in the general public, rad has a totally different meaning and connotation. It's kind of specialized, but in my profession, it's reactive attachment disorder, and I deal with kids a lot of times that have attachment issues, and it's bad. It may not be too bad for somebody to say that they're an addict or whatever, but the connotation of reactive attachment disorder, RAD, is you're putting yourself in the category of somebody like John Wayne Gacy or Ted Bundy, someone who's a serial killer, because someone with reactive attachment disorder, they care for absolutely no one and no thing other than their own wants and desires at a particular moment. They have no conscience, and they're dangerous. So, be careful, guys. It's one thing, one of the more common things is say, oh, I'm ADD, attention deficit disorder. Yeah, and I can guarantee some of you guys are ADD. Or some of you say you're ADHD, attention disorder, hyperactivity, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Yeah, some of you probably are that too. But reactive attachment disorder, no. Bad connotation. Okay. I really like the way the single edge blade works. Second pass here. So in mixed company, button your lip about your razor acquisition disorder, unless you call it a razor acquisition disorder. But amongst us guys, you can keep on saying it. RAD. There's a lot worse things that you could be than a razor acquisition disorder. I can tell you that. I know a lot of guys that have the Harley acquisition disorder once they get up to a certain age, and that's pretty expensive. And then some guys have the firearms acquisition disorder, and that's pretty expensive too. Had an uncle that he had some cotton picking miniguns. I think if he chose to go out and shoot one every day, he'd have one just about to fill the year. The Jim Jr. razor is pretty much, the head of it is pretty much identical to the regular Jim 1912. It may just be slightly different dimensions on the head. Oh, I forgot to say I did my usual homemade pre-shave oil. I didn't use a whole lot. I just kind of used a little small dab on the end of this big old brush, and there's plenty of lather. In fact, it's actually kind of drying out a little bit. A little bit of water. And, I've been debating, since I've been doing face lathering a little bit more, about getting another brush, but this brush is turning out to be pretty versatile. It's big, thick. It's got a fairly decent backbone. It's Pure Badger from Frank Shaves. I really like it. It does hold a lot of water, though. After I made the mistake of starting out leaving a lot of water in it and not wringing it out. But you got to do it pretty dry to start off with. And as my technique gets better, as my comfort with wet shaving gets better. Whenever I first started using Jim razors, the single edge razors, they were kind of scary, and I could really feel that blade and could tell the difference of the angle. And since I've been wet shaving now for quite a few months, and my comfort level has increased, I don't feel the blade as well. I'm not as conscious of it. Going this fast with a single edge whenever I first started, wouldn't have dreamed of it. And I think that all goes back to when years ago I pulled all my grandpa's old razors out of the drawer, and I probably stuck a hardware store blade in it, and it just ripped me up something terrible. I didn't want to touch it again, but it was only after reading on the boards about there being good blades and bad blades, I go, oh, I might give that a try. There's a few spots I might need to touch up, the usual down underneath my chin, just a little bit, and right there. That's the one thing with the head on the Jim. It's a little bit harder to get in some tight spots. I don't shave underneath my nose, but I imagine that would be a really hard place to get. And then my special spot down here, it actually, does pretty good at removing it without too much trouble. My swirly spot. It's my father-in-law's birthday today, so we're going to go out and eat barbecue later on. Looking forward to that. Haven't had barbecue in a while. So overall, Taylorville Bond Street shaving creams, I like them. It's the first really premium. And this, some people would say this isn't premium. This is kind of middle of the road type of cream, but I like it. I like it. I'll have to try some other ones. Thank you, Jesper. And let's do some of my witch hazel, grapefruit aftershave. Very minimal sting, wonderful smell. And top it off. Let that dry a second. And top it off, since it's Sunday, True Fit in the Hills sandalwood. Been enjoying the board on all the conversation and cutting up that's been going on. There's been a lot of information that's been spread around and shared, which is always good. And enjoying the company of you fine fellas. So have a good Sunday, the rest of your weekend, and talk to you later.